Well, welcome to Synchronicity of the Enlightened Circles, and this is the second in our poetry reading series. Tonight we're fortunate enough to have Lawrence R. Smith with us, the author of Any Soup Kitchen, The Map of Who We Are, translations from the Italian, the Chinese, and he's also a poet, former editor of Caliban, and very happy to have Lawrence here tonight with us. And actually I was expecting more of a crowd tonight for the event. Did advertise for it, but still, the readings here have been very interesting because it's a very intimate atmosphere, and you can read without a microphone, and still people can hear what you're saying. And I've been looking forward to this reading, and because I like the direction that Lawrence Smith is pursuing in his fiction, which is a style that's poetic and visually imaginative, and with profound insights into the human condition. And so here he is now to read from Any Soup Kitchen.
I should say before I start that this novel comes out of that I've worked for 10 years in a soup kitchen in Orange County, and that I started there after I had come back from a semester of teaching at university in Hong Kong, and I got very sick, and I lost about 35 pounds, and I went to the doctors, and a number of doctors, and none of them had any explanation. They tested me and couldn't find anything wrong with me, and finally they just wanted to give me antidepressants because they told me I was depressed, and I said, yeah, I was depressed, because they had no idea why I was sick. They wanted to give me Zoloft, and I just didn't want that. So, but little by little, I recovered, and as you can see today, I'm not underweight. But one of the things that helped me recover was I decided I was going to work in a soup kitchen, so I started worrying about people other than myself, and it kind of took my mind off my sickness. Actually, I didn't think I would survive it. And it turns out a lot of my friends and colleagues didn't think so either. They told me that after I'd recovered. But I worked in this soup kitchen, and like anybody who works in a soup kitchen, I was very surprised, because the people that were there were not all homeless people. They were not, and they were, as other volunteers that come to work always remark, I'm surprised, they always say that person doesn't look like he or she belongs in a soup kitchen. But there is no person that belongs. A lot of the people are not even homeless. There are people that are living on Social Security or diminished means, or have lost their jobs, and they have to make a choice between rent or the mortgage and food, and so they hang on to their housing and they eat in the kitchen. And we always cook them pretty good food. The POV of the book is a guy named Grady Roberts, who happens to be somebody who is a kind of frustrated English professor novelist who has been sick, and it sounds vaguely like somebody I just talked about. But at any rate, they call him Pasta Man because he creates huge vats of pasta for the people, the clients of the kitchen. But that's what happened, and I was in the middle of Map of Who We Are when I I was stuck in the middle of it. I was very sick. I didn't think I'd survive. I didn't think I'd finish the novel. And I was pretty miserable when I started working in this kitchen. And one of the other volunteers said, "Why don't you write a book about the soup kitchen?" And which made me very angry because I couldn't even finish the novel I was working on. And most writers don't cotton to people telling them to what they should write novels about. And so I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And I was angry. And later, when I was finishing Mapafui, which took me 7 years, it started coming to me that the soup kitchen was this wonderful place. It's almost a magic place that allowed me to say everything I wanted to about almost everything. And I ended up writing this novel. And my experience there, and the wonderful retired Irish nurse named Mary McKenna, who was the inspiration for Annie O'Rourke, who died last December at 100 years old, but worked right up until her death, raising money, running the kitchen. Quite an extraordinary person. She inspired me because she had so much nerve and a ferocious temper as well, but also wonderful nerve and compassion. She just took something, the very simple biblical command from the New Testament is frequently uttered, that is, feed the poor, and she just thought, that's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's not metaphor, it's just like it means what it says. And so she did that. And often with great resistance from political and entities around. There was always the fear that they would draw people into the community, undesirable elements and so forth. But the actual kitchen itself, where I work, and that is the basis of this, is on a DPW, Department of Public Works lot, between the police station and the railroad tracks, and it's basically a yard where they keep the earth movers and the tar piles and stuff. And there's a little trailer in the middle of it where we cook and we feed the people there. So you can see it's high rent real estate.
Yeah.
It's the worst place they could find in all of the city of Orange. And that's where we are. And there were some people that didn't want us to be there even in that place, which is, there are no residences anywhere close. It's all warehouses and industry. And yeah, that's it.
Selfish.
Yeah, well, your response was her response. And once she got so angry at somebody, she said, on the great tree that is the church of our Lord, you aren't even the smallest leaf. She got so angry. But she was a kind of inspired, almost mystical character, I think. And when she died, she had one bishop, one cardinal, 2 bishops, and 10 priests at her funeral. And she was kind of unofficially declared a saint, but still amazing woman. And I'm going to just read some passages here first about the kitchen itself, which was a very unusual kitchen, and about her, about Annie. Healing was the dream that lured the entire crew back week after week to perform those changes. Energized vegetable narration, the free fall into edibility of pure goodwill. Of course, denials of the kitchen's transformational power occurred, like the washout MBA who ignited sleeping bag, beard, and hair with a crack pipe, incinerated himself in his hideaway under a bridge on the Santa Ana City line. Yet there were remarkably few casualties until the shadow plague became widely recognized. And you can bet more than spaghetti was being conjured there. Things happened at any soup kitchen that eluded the sharpest eye or even the most flexible fiction.